MILTANK is one of the most infamous of all Generation 2 Pokémon, and it is well in need of a redo, so let's see how she gets on. The last MILTANK challenge we did together here on the channel was back in October 2022. We got a time of 1 hour and 39 minutes, which back then was considered to be an incredibly fast time, but an awful lot has changed in the last 3 years, so MILTANK is absolutely in need of a redo to try and get her much higher up the leaderboard because she started to sink just a little bit. And now, as always, before we get into the challenge, we are going to take a look at the stats of our starting Pokemon to see exactly what we're going up with. We're starting, of course, at level 5 with 25 HP, holding a berry with Tackle and Growl. We've got 14 in attack, 17 in defense, 10 in special attack, 13 in special defense, and 16 in speed. And with that, I shall pass you over to the live run to see how we get on. We first ran MILTANK about 3 years ago together on the channel, so it is well overdue another try at getting a very good leaderboard time. The last time we ran it, we ended up in 2nd place, so it was very good back in the day, but of course a lot has changed since then. The leaderboard is definitely much more competitive than it used to be, and of course the routing and my skill level has changed an awful lot at the same time. So we're going to have to see how well MILTANK fares this time. I think a lot of this is going to be down to how I play as opposed to a change in strategy. It's mostly going to be about the changes in movement, the changes in the routing to make it more optimal. We should see a much better time than last time though, and I'm incredibly excited to try out some slightly different strategies when we get towards the end of the game, especially with Lance and Red. We'll have to see if we can improve there, because that's definitely where we struggled last time. Now, I've gone for Hidden Power Ground in this particular run. It was a bit of a toss-up between Ground and Rock. However, I do think that Hidden Power Ground is going to be the more beneficial. We do learn Fire Punch for Jasmine, and Hidden Power Rock probably won't do as much as we need to against a trainer like Lance, so going for Hidden Power Ground will probably give us the best chance at the quickest time. We do of course have a long way to go until we can even think about Lance, and an even longer way to go before we think about Red, and our first big battle is going to be against Rival 1. It should be absolutely fine. We are in the slow experience group, so we've only gained 1 level and we've been growled. But Stab Tackle is doing just about enough there. We get through without consuming our berry, and we can head back to New Bark Town to have a little chat with Professor Elm. We'll name the rival triple question mark, as we always do, of course. And then it'll be time to start thinking about our first gym together. Now, in case you have missed it, we are skipping Sprout Tower entirely on 99% of the runs now. So it's going to be straight into Violet Gym. So I tell you what, I'll meet you back there when we're ready to face Falkner. And now we are level 9 as we are entering our first gym battle together. This is Falkner. He is a flying type specialist and he leads with Pidgey. We high rolled on the first turn there, making me think it was going to be a 2-shot. Ended up being a 3-shot against the Pidgey, and it's going to be a 4 or 5-shot against the Pidgeotto. We're in no danger of losing the battle though. We didn't even gain a level because we're in slow experience group. 4 minutes and 47 seconds for the Zephyr badge. That means we can leave Violet City once and for all. We'll only have to come back for the rare candy after we've defeated Chuck. We will have a quick heal now because we've only got 1 Pokemon in the party. We will then grab the egg, instantly deposit it into the PC box, and then it'll be time to start thinking about making our way towards Azalea Town. And now we are through the other side of the Union Cave. The rappel has worn off, and that means we're going to catch our first HM friend. We're getting Kenya the Spearow first of all. It's a fake Kenya. We now get fake Kenya here on the channel as opposed to getting the one from the guard at the gate. And we shall name this one Kenya. I did forget to pause the timer there. So we will resync just by walking past Hiker Anthony, hopefully not getting caught by him. And then we will give ourselves until the time we're in the Pokemon. That will be roughly about the time we owe ourselves, but we will be pausing the timer again in just a moment to catch the next 2 HM friends. I like catching the Spearow. It does make the routing slightly easier because it gives me 1 fewer thing to think about in Goldenrod. Goldenrod is a little bit of a brain drain, I've got to be honest. Even now, 3 years removed from the first challenges we did together on the channel, Goldenrod is still fairly stressful because there's so much I've got to remember to do. So let's now catch our Psyduck. Psyduck will be helping us out with Surf, Strength, Whirlpool and Waterfall, and we'll also get Paris. Paris's job is going to be for Cut, Dig and Rock Smash, and it will be incredibly helpful. So let's reorder the HM friends now as well, so they're in a little bit more sensible order. I will unpause the timer, I'll get Slowpoke well done, and we'll think about facing Bugsy. Now, while we were in Slowpoke well, we've had our final battle with the Abysmal Tackle. We learnt Stomp at level 13, and just in time too, because we are now against Bugsy, our second gym leader, a Bug-type specialist, led with Metapod that went down. Kakuna's gone exactly the same way. We don't outspeed the Scyther though, so we are getting Fury Cutted, but that critical hit means we're absolutely fine. We get through Bugsy first try, obtain the Hive Badge in 10 minutes and 11 seconds. Let us do a Pokemon Center heal because we only have 1 PP left on Stomp. I've taught Mudslap, by the way, in Slowpoke well as well in preparation for Rival 2, and that's what we're doing now. Second rival battle is the peskiest of them all, I've got to be honest with you. We're not going to have anything great for the Ghastly, we just got to hope, just like that Hypnosis misses. We can then stomp all over this Zubat as Bite does minimal damage, and there will be a 3 or 4 shot against the Bayleaf, depending on Reflect. A crit there from Razorleaf could have spelt the end of us for that battle, but we get through, and we can now start thinking about going towards Goldenrod. And en route to Goldenrod, of course, we get cuts from the Charcoal Maker. We will teach that to Paris in front of the tree. I've been learning as well to perfectly time that repel so it always runs out just as we're standing in front of this tree. It's a little bit of a time save, and it really has become quite handy. We do learn Headbutt, so we are absolutely going to take Headbutt. It's just a better Stomp. Stomp might be good against the one Pokemon that minimalizes in the entire run, but that's not until the Elite Four. So we might as well get rid of Tackle at the moment and run 2 powerful normal moves. We'll stick on another Repel. We'll grab the pair of Ether here in the forest, 1 in the corner and 1 down there. And then we will pause the timer to catch our Abra. Abra's going to be completing the HM Friend set for another challenge, and that we can start thinking about really racing through the rest of Johto. So at 11:52 the timer gets unpaused, and I will meet you in Goldenrod proper. Already had a little chat with Floria up near National Park. We picked up the Dig TM as well and taught it to Paris, and that means we can now head into Goldenrod Gym. This is where our third gym leader will await us. We have 1 trainer to get through before we actually take on Whitney, and it's going to be cow versus cow in this one. If we can get a critical hit just like that against Whitney, I will be very, very happy. I don't think we're going to lose this battle, but it still could be a little bit tricky and a bit of a time sink. We get through the Clefairy incredibly quickly though, and now we're going to start flinching her cow. What a perfect battle! She didn't even get a hit in. I'm sorry to say, Whitney, we have the better cow on this particular run. Give us a tract, that will be handy later on. We are getting out of here. I am so sorry, Whitney, that we scammed you out of that battle. Let's have a little chat with the eavesdropping so-and-so here in Goldenrod's flower shop, and we are getting out of here. We're going straight to Air Critique. We are not lingering because Whitney will try and snatch that badge away from us. Now, in this one, we're not going to be able to do quick Air Critique because I do want to go and get Hidden Power for the gym. So that is going to change the routing ever so slightly compared to our standard routing now, but I think it will provide MILTANK the best opportunity to get a quick time across the entire run. So I tell you what, I will meet you when we are ready to pick up Hidden Power from the Lake of Rage. I've done our standard Nido knocking out on our route up to the Lake of Rage pre-surf. That means that we've knocked out both Miller and the Pokemaniacs Nidos on routes 42 and 43, maybe 43 and 44. I always forget the route numbers around here. They're all in the 40s. We'll grab the rare candy at the same time. That elixir is absolutely bait. There's a much better one to get in Blackthorn. We will pick up the Detect TM, sell that for a little bit of money, and we will have a grab of Hidden Power. Hidden Power Ground is what we're going with. I think I mentioned that at the beginning of this challenge. We will teach it straight away over Mudslap. Mudslap has served its purpose. We will also at the same time actually teach Rock Smash to Paris. And now we will teleport all the way back to Ecruteak City. We'll do a heal here in Ecruteak, and before taking on Rival 3, I'm going to go to Olivine and I'm going to take on the Lighthouse section. On the way to the Lighthouse, we're going to get the Mince Berry from this berry tree. We're also going to get the Nugget to sell for a little bit of money later on. That Mint Berry could come in clutch if we're not able to one-shot Morty's Gengar, which is why I'm going to the Lighthouse now. I think it is the safest way for MILTANK. We're only going to battle Derek, we're not going to do the entire married couple, and then it'll be time to ascend the Lighthouse. Now we are just about to enter the Lighthouse. We picked up strength from the man in the Olivine Cafe. We're going to say goodbye to Stomp. Stomp's a little bit surplus to requirements. We've already got a flinching move on our learn set, and strength is going to give us a little bit of extra base power. So let's test it out against this Noctowl. We actually do a fair amount there. The one downside to MILTANK is we only have 80 in attack, so it does mean that we are going to get a few more two-shots than we would otherwise have if we were playing a slightly more attacking focused Pokemon. Now that does mean we're not going to be getting any record-breaking time, but I still think we're on track for an incredibly good time for a defensive Pokemon like MILTANK. And now at the tippy top of the Lighthouse, Jasmine sells us a cock and bull story about MILTANK, Ampharos being sick. We're not going to believe her, but we will play along so we can gather some more evidence about her. We will do a heal here in Olivine, and now we're going to cycle back to Ecruteak City, taking the 10 or so seconds it'll take to cycle back, and it will be time to head into the Burnt Tower, where we're going to take on the third rival battle. By this point, the rival's normally becoming a little bit of a joke, and I can't see that being any exception in this particular challenge. So we shall see how we get on. This is Rival 3, and he's going to lead, of course, with Haunter. This Haunter likes to swear, but we're family friendly on the video, so we're going to get rid of it before it has a chance to say any naughty words. We'll use Hidden Power against the Magnemite as well. And here comes Zubat. We'll use Headbutt against the Zubat, knock it out in one as we grow to 25. We will fish for the flinch, and we get it. Perfect Rival 3. Very happy with that. Damageless Rival 3 as well. That's not something you see every day. Let's now release the beasts, and we are going to dig out, and we are going to pick up actually the HP up that's hiding in this corner of the Burnt Tower. That's going to save a little bit of time compared to the Victory Road one, but now it's time for me to get through all of these flaming Ghastly. I'm not going to make you sit through them though. Let's join back up when it's time to take on Morty himself. And there we go, a bunch of Ghastly all knocked out. We've got even more against Morty though. He is our fourth gym leader together, a Ghost and Poison type specialist who leads, would you believe, with another blooming Ghastly. We've got a Haunter here as well. Here comes Gengar. It's probably not going to be a one-shot. Hypnosis does hit this time, so we were right to get the Mint Berry. We'll finish off his last Haunter as we grow to 28. And we defeat Morty and obtain the Fog Badge in 23 minutes and 24 seconds. And now let's do the Kimono Girls. I knew there was something I forgot in Ecruteak. It's probably actually why we were running a few levels lower than I thought we would be. It hasn't made any difference to the time whatsoever. It just means there might have been a bit of a dodgy edit there. So let us get rid of all of them. In fact, doing the Kimono Girls later might be beneficial to us, because it means we got the one-shot on the Espeon there. I don't think we're going to get a one-shot on the Umbreon, but Tail Whip is absolutely meaningless. So this could actually have worked out for the better and saved us a little bit of time, just by virtue of being able to defeat these slightly quicker because we're higher leveled. Because I don't think getting the Kimono Girls would have sped up anything in Lighthouse whatsoever. So let us now get Surf. We have Surf. Surf is a thing that we now possess, and with that we can make our way over to Olivine City. We will teach Surf and Strength to our Psyduck to begin with though, and then let us teleport to Olivine, and I will cross the open seas and head to Cyanwood. We will pick up the secret potion from the man in the dodgy shop. We'll be using that against Jasmine, hopefully. We'll be giving it to her, but we'll try and steal a little bit for ourselves. But for now, it's time to go into probably one of our harder gyms. This is Chuck's fighting type gym. We have the type disadvantage, so this one could be a little bit dangerous. It all depends on how Chuck's AI decides to go. So now it is time for Chuck. I'm not looking forward to this battle. It could be our first reset of the challenge. We shall have to see. He leads with Primeape and Primeape flinches. That's a good start because that means we're not leered. He's going for Mind Reader. He flinches. I should have confidence in our cow. We have the Storm Badge first try in 26 minutes and 28 seconds. Now, we could do Jasmine next, but I think it's going to make more sense to go to the Lake of Rage and take on Price before Jasmine. So let's teach Fly to our Kenya. I'll do a bit of housekeeping and we'll meet up for the Gyarados. And now it is time for the Gyarados at the Lake of Rage. We didn't take any damage in Chuck's gym, so that does mean we are able to go straight into the Gyarados. He's locked himself into Strength, that's perfect for us. We'll grab the red scale, we'll have a little chat with Lance, and next it'll be time for Price's gym. And so now we find ourselves in front of Price. He is our 6th gym leader together today. He is an Ice-type specialist who's going to lead with Seal. Seal goes down in one shot, so we're on to Dugong. It's going to be a 2-shot with Strength on the Dugong, and that moves us on to Piloswine. We get a critical hit, so that does mean that Price is going to Healing Loop. We shouldn't have had that Healing Loop, but the crit screwed us over. It's one of the few times where we don't want to crit. Glacier Badge in 32 minutes and 35 seconds. That does mean we can head back to Olivine now to think about Jasmine. We are going to teach, though, Surf in place of Defense Curl, and we're going to put on the Mystic Water to give us the best chance of getting through the Steelix. We could have gone for something like Fire Punch, but we've got Hidden Power Ground for the Magnemite, and that should one-shot because it's 4 times. So we can go for Surf, which is slightly more powerful. We do, of course, have to chat with Jasmine first here at the tippy top of the lighthouse. We're going to take chase of her as we need to check her handbag, and then it'll be time to take her on. So let's see now how we fare in battle against Jasmine. She is our 7th gym leader together, a Steel-type specialist who leads with Magnemite. So one shot on the first 2 Magnemite, of course it was going to be a one shot. And now as for Surf, let's see how much it does. Just over half. Just enough to avoid the Healing Loop there. And we obtain the Mineral Badge in 33 minutes and 51 seconds. That means we get the call from Elm, and that means we can start heading through the Ice Path. And now we're through the Ice Path, we are going to fly back to Blackthorn. We'll set our TP spot there, and we're going to go and grab our 12 Max Repels here from Blackthorn Mart. And then it's a quick cycle down to grab an Elixir. We will avoid line of sight of him, goodness me, and her. We are going to grab the Nugget, and then we're actually going to teleport back to Blackthorn, because it is time to say goodbye to Strength. We've got Return. Return is a much more powerful move than Strength at this point in the challenge. So we'll say goodbye to it. We'll teach Return later on. But we are also fairly close to Body Slam. So I need to make a little decision as to whether we're going to keep Headbutt or not. But it is now time for me to take on the Rockets here in Goldenrod. I'm not going to make you sit through those. We'll meet back up for Rival 4. And with about half of the pesky rocket section all completed, it's time for Rival 4. This time he's going to lead with Golbat. Now we're going to fish for the flinch here and hope that we don't get confused. That's exactly what happens, so a really good start to this battle. We'll use Hidden Power against the Magnemite, we'll take that down in a single hit. We'll continue with Hidden Power against the Haunter, and that brings us on to Sneasel. Return should one-shot the Sneasel, it's got paper-thin defences. And that just leaves Meganium left to go. Reflect isn't great, but Razor Leaf has missed. We get the flinch. I probably could have gone for Return at the end there, but it's muchness by the end, and we get through on our first attempt in 39.5 minutes. Now that means we've got even more rockets left to go. So I will get through all of these as fast as I possibly can, and then it'll be time for Claire in Blackthorn. And now we are just about ready for Claire. Just before we battle Claire, though, we're going to learn Body Slam off Cool Trainer Lola here. That will hopefully be what we need in case we can't one-shot the Dragonair. We will have a chance of paralysing them We'll see how we get on though. It's a one-shot on the first Dragonair. That's a very good sign. If we can get rid of all 3 Dragonair, I'll feel a lot more confident, because that means we're not paralysed for the Kingdra. Let's actually go for a Body Slam. That does roughly about half. It's enough to avoid the healing loop with Claire there. And we have defeated her. Let's now rush to the Dragon's Den to get the badge. And after filling in the little survey that the owner of the Dragon's Den wanted me to do, we are able to get the badge from Claire. Time of 46 minutes and 14 seconds for the Rising badge. That means we have all 8 Johtonian gym badges acquired, and that means we can start heading towards the Pokemon League. And with that, we find ourselves in Victory Road. We're going to pick up the Earthquake TM here. That could come in very handy, actually, for a lot of the battles we've got coming up. So we're going to teach it over Hidden Power. We're just going to do the straight upgrade there. And now we are going to take on rival number 5. This is a 5th and final rival battle. He's going to lead with Sneasel. We'll lead with Return to get rid of it in one shot. Here comes Golbat, and thank goodness, Return's a one shot against it. We know that Earthquake is going to be all kinds of damaging for the Magnemite. We don't even need to think about it. Same with the Horns here. And that just leaves 2 Pokemon left to go. We've got Kadabra, whose defenses are non-existent. And now we have Meganium. We paralyse the Meganium as it uses Reflect. That's meaningless for us though. We are able to knock it out with another Body Slam. And with that, we are at the Pokemon League. So we're going to pick up our 4 full restores and we will make our way into the league. First league member is Will. He is a Psychic type specialist who leads with Xatu. Now we could have gone Shadow Ball here, but I don't think it would have made any difference whatsoever. We are going to be just spamming Return for the most part. We'll do a Body Slam on this Executor. Reflect isn't great, but it's fully paralysed. We grow to 47, out comes the Slowbro. We're going to Body Slam this thing as well, just until Reflect fades. We were trying to get the Paralyze off on it, but it keeps swearing at us. Does it not know we're family friendly here? Let us use the Return against this last Xatu. Bit of a scrappy Will battle there, but we get through. Time of 50 minutes and 5 seconds. Up second is Koga. He's a Poison type specialist, and he's going to lead with Ariados. We'll use Return against the Ariados, we'll take it down in a single hit. Venomoth second, it goes down in much the same way. Now we don't have anything brilliant for the Fortress, so it could go boom. We've got to be very careful here. We just about get through it, and that brings us on to Muck. We'll use Earthquake against the Muck as it uses Acid Armor, and he's withdrawn. Oh no, he got the read on us. Toxic has missed. So in fact, I think Koga has played himself here. We knock out the Muck, and we get through in 50-51. Let's move on to Bruno. Bruno is our 3rd league member, a Fighting type specialist who leads with Hitmontop. We'll use Return against Hitmontop, and it is a one-shot. That means it should be a one-shot on both the Hitmonlee and Hitmonchan as well, although we will take guaranteed damage from the Hitmonchan. Up next is Machamp. We're not going to be able to one-shot this, so we will paralyse cross-chop hits, but it does not crit. And that means we can use Surf against the Onix, and we just about get through without taking a reset. And I've done the prep work for Karen. We are holding a Bitter Berry. I've used the HP up. Let's see how we get on. She leads, of course, with Umbreon. We have been sand attacked, so that's not great, as we grow to 49. Up next is Vileplume. Let's see, we are paralysed. This isn't great. We could take our first reset here. We're going to persist. Swearing's fine. We get through the Gengar. We should be able to one-shot this Murkrow. And then as long as we connect with Earthquake on the Houndoom, and now we have connected with Earthquake on the Houndoom, and that gets us through Karen. Just a bit of clarification there. She used Raw, and I pause the timer and rewind whenever we have Raw happen, because that just throws so many spanners into the works. It overcomplicates things. So what I do, I've done it consistently since the beginning. If we get Rawed, especially in the league, we rewind, and then we take it from the previous turn. But that does now mean it is time to take on Lance. He is, of course, the liar with the flyers. He's going to lead with Gyarados. And this could realistically be a reset heavy battle. We are going to be up against these thunder waving Dragonite. And I have a feeling, that unless we somehow scrape by without getting paralysed, it will be our first reset. There's the paralysis. We'll take a reset and we are going to hold the Persecure Berry instead. One reset's not terrible though. Let's try again. Leads with Gyarados, of course. We will use Return because we actually want Rain Dance up. Rain Dance will help if we can get onto the Aerodactyl in time. Let's use Body Slam. Thunder Wave has hit. We're just going to need to spam until we dodge one of the Thunder Wave. It's about 50-50 each time. So we do just have to keep on persevering until we dodge one of the Thunder Waves. It shouldn't take too long. This is probably the least consistent battle we'll have. We are going to fish for the paralysis ourselves as well, but it's not guaranteed. We are getting fairly unlucky with the RNG so far. There we go, there's a Gen 2 miss. That gives us an in at least. It doesn't guarantee, but it does give us an in. Hyper Beam's fine. That was probably the best move we could have seen there. We'll continue surfing against this Zard. We critical hit. I think we have this in the bag now. Let's Body Slam the Dragonite. We've paralysed it again. Safeguard's fine. And we are throw grown to 51. So that is Lance all defeated in a time of 54 minutes and 21 seconds. Let's see what that does for our final Hall of Fame time for this challenge. And now our final Hall of Fame time is 54 minutes and 38 seconds. Let's see where that puts us on the midpoint leaderboard. And for the Unbound challenge, we are in 5th place, and overall we are in 24th place. We're doing well so far, but this is only half the story. There's another 8 gym badges plus a red fight left to come, so don't you dare go anywhere, because Kanto is next. And we are rejoining the action as we always do here in Vermilion City, where we're going to go and get the rare candy from the chairman of the Pokémon fan club. Now, MILTANK has had a very smooth start up to this point. Just 3 resets, which is not bad at all. And we are now going to take on the Cantonian Gauntlet for yet another challenge. That does mean we're going to be starting here at Lieutenant Surge. We'll move over to Erica, then down to Janine. We'll go back to Sabrina, up to Misty, across to Brock. We'll go down to Blaine, and then we will finish off with Blue. Talking of Blue, if you do want to skip ahead to the Blue fight, it's going to be happening at around about 30 minutes and 55 seconds for this challenge. For everybody else, we are going to now sit back, relax, and have our standard Cantonian chat. And in this one, it's going to be a bit of a squidgy over shares Kanto chat. They're some of my favourites, though. Now, you may have noticed that we did a lot of videos over summer, and then we came to a bit of an abrupt end. I've been dealing with a few health issues, both physical and mental, since the start of the year. And I thought I was through the worst in summer, got back to my recordings, got back to streaming, and then they all came back with a vengeance, to the point where I was sleeping probably about 4 hours a week, and that is not healthy. I'm not sure if any of you have suffered from really, really intense insomnia, but it was getting to a point where I was not able to do anything at all. I would just be laying in bed, trying to get to sleep, following every technique in the book, even the ones out of the book, even the outdated ones, and nothing was working. I just had to ride the wave until it passed, and it eventually did, and I was able to get back into some kind of normality. I gave myself a couple of weeks buffer as well before coming back to content, just to make sure that it was all in the past this time. And touch wood, everything's been good so far. I've made a couple of changes as well to my setup. You may notice the audio sounds slightly different in this Kanto chat compared to the live run. I've actually moved into my new office for the challenge runs now. So I've got my own dedicated space. That means I can stream whenever I want, I can record content whenever I want, and I am much less restricted with the hours that I can work. And that will hopefully be one of the keys to preventing a lot of the issues that have come up in the past. It's something I've been meaning to do for quite some time, But some issues that happened during one of the recordings, you'll see those later in the month, meant that I had the kick up the bum I needed in order to finally move everything into this space. I've been waiting to move for about a year. But you know what it's like. There is that age-old saying, isn't there? The most permanent solution is a temporary solution. And that was definitely the case over the last 3 years. But I am now all settled up in this room, and the only real issue in here is that it is bloomin' warm. It's now in the middle of September as I'm recording this particular Kanto chat. And I feel like I am back on the beach in Ayia Napa in the middle of summer, getting a beautiful tan or something, as the heat is radiating all around me. Although we are going into winter in the Northern Hemisphere as I'm recording this, so I might not be complaining about that for too much longer. Thinking of the streams, by the way, if you do want to catch them, they're not available on restricted mode. So say, for instance, you're at somewhere that has restrictions on their internet access, you won't be able to catch them unless you manually turn off restricted mode. So that is very, very important. But that, I think, is enough waffling for this video. Let us now hand back over to the live run, where we are going to take on Blue. And we have made it to Blue. He is our final gym leader of the challenge, and he's going to lead with Pidgeot. We're not going to be able to one-shot it, so we will start off with a body slam, as Wing Attack does a little bit of damage. We knock it out on our second turn, and up next is going to be Alakazam. We can easily one-shot that, and the third Pokemon is Rhydon. This is the reason we've kept Surf for so long, because we are able to take it out in a single hit. We don't need to worry about any kind of Sandstorm shenanigans. We will happily accept a Rain Dance, though, off this Gyarados. That means that Arcanine will have to go for extreme speed, providing the rain is still up by then. We could get Leech Seeded by this Executor. That's exactly what's happened, which is a little bit frustrating. But we should hopefully be fine. We're going to use a Surf against the Arcanine, and he's used Roar. As with Karen, second time we've been roared in this one, we'll take it back to that turn. We ended up just critting Blue at the end there. Apologies, that was a bit of a messy battle there. Trying to figure out how to stop the Roar, because that would have been totally unfair on MILTANK to have a Roar hinder its time there. But we did get through Blue, 107.46 in the end. That does mean we are now ready to take on Red. And just before taking on Red, it is now time to say goodbye to Surf. It has served its purpose, so we will go to Blackthorn in the move deleter, get rid of it, and we'll replace it with something else in just a moment. We've got one more rare candy we need to pick up, though, on this run, and then it will be time to think about what we're going to do for Red. So here we are in front of Red, and we are going full scumbag strategy. We're going to start off with Attract against the Pikachu. Then we are going to set up a couple of double teams. Enough, hopefully, to stop anything hitting us, consistently at the very least. Attract will help as well, of course, as we regain some of our HP. And then we get to attacking. We're going to use Return against Pikachu. We're going to knock it out in one single hit. Up next is the Espeon. We'll use Return as it goes for Swift. Double Team forces Swift from the Espeon. And the third Pokemon is Snorlax. We're going to Body Slam. Snorlax's Body Slam missed. We will then use a Return and another Return. And we are through the Big Bear. That brings us on to the Venusaur. We get a nice critical hit there and a paralysis. That means that he can't set up Sunny Day. That's going to make the rest of this battle a lot nicer, hopefully. Another crit as Flamethrower misses. All our Christmases are coming at once. Goodness me. Rain Dance is fine. I think even a Crit Surf won't knock us out. Oh, it could have done, actually. Let's finish it off with Return. Let's grow to 67. And at 111.02, we have defeated Red. Let's see where that puts us on the leaderboard. And now for the Unbound leaderboard, we are in 4th place, in between Ursaring and Feraligatr. And for our All Runs leaderboard, we are in 20th place, in between Dodrio's Redo and Meganium's Egg Move Run. And now as the rest of the leaderboard plays in the background, I will say thank you all so much for watching. It's been an absolute pleasure on this one. I hope you've had a lot of fun as well. If you have, make sure to subscribe, like the video as well. You can support me financially by becoming a channel member to get early access to all of our videos together here on the channel. And now, until next time when we're running Dragonite through the Unbound Pokemon Crystal Challenge, I will say thank you all so much for watching. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I'll catch you all very, very soon.